I'm drawing in the style of Kandinsky, and I'm going to be using circles and curves and overlapping them, drawing them inside each other in different lines, thick and thin, wiggly, zigzag, overlapping, and I've got a black pen to fill in some spaces in my shapes too. I'm just using normal paper, normal colouring pencils, and a black pen or two. Oh, and I have a compass and a ruler to help me set things up properly. So my first layer is just pencil drawing. I'm using a ruler to do these lines, and I've used a compass to do some circles, a little bit of overlapping, some of the lines bisect the circles, some wiggly lines, and I'm just exploring and taking my line for a walk. When we talk about the elements of art, we focus on shape and space and line, and this is where I am at the moment now. I'm taking my lines around my page, I'm planning out my space, and I'm using what I know about shapes. Most of them are geometric, but we have a few organic shapes like the wiggly lines too. I'm using a black pen to shade some of the spaces completely solid now, just to give it some bright contrast and some strong areas. So now I'm taking my ordinary colouring pencils, and what I'm going to do is try to create gradients of colour within the spaces that I've made in the same way Kandinsky has in his paintings. When your pencils arrive and they're lovely and new, you can see that they come in this gorgeous sort of order, which we've talked about a little bit before, of analogous colour, which means they would be next to each other on a colour wheel. And this is a great way to start blending things by using the colours that are next to each other, or looking at a colour wheel or a rainbow for inspiration. You can pick, for example, blue and take it into the greens or the purples, and your gradient will always look really attractive. But you can also work with contrast too, and I'm doing that in spaces next to each other. So I've got the mustard next to the blue here. Complementary colours look great in sort of adjoining spaces, and it gives you a bit of a pop in some areas. And you can see that I'm working some spaces full of colour, some spaces with the gradients in, and some that are just going from dark to light. So the blue on the left at the moment, I've started as dark as I can in the corner and worked it so it's almost white at the top edge. Doing the same thing now with a darker blue, so you can see that I vary the pressure on the pencils when I want it to get lighter. Moving it into a sort of lighter purple, and then as I get further away, I'm going to go darker and deeper with the purple, just to give it variance of light and tone and shade. You can see that the blending areas work well when you do a lighter layer with a heavier one over the top. And I'm using my pencils not too sharp for this, they're a little bit blunt. I tend to work kind of all on one side of them, just to have more of a surface area so it doesn't take forever to fill in big spaces with them.